Yo, how's it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Down Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, joined by my co-hosts, Parth and Jaylen. Today, how you guys doing?
Good.
So, today we are going to be doing our post-game show for the Bears game in Week 3 of the NFL season against the Arizona Cardinals, where they came on top 16-14, first time since November 15th, 2013, if I think I'm correct, that the Bears have been first in the NFC North. So it's kind of a bittersweet day. Obviously, in the game, there's a lot to be improved upon. I think it was a pretty sloppy game. But when you look at it overall, I think when you look at how the rest of the NFC North did today, the Lions are currently losing to the Patriots. The Packers lost to the Redskins. The Redskins played a pretty solid game. And the Vikings got shut out by the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen made the play of the year, hurdling Anthony Barr. And I'll take a sloppy win for how it's going this week in the NFC North. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with just like an overview of I guess just how the offense was. I'll start off just talking about the offense for myself. It was not too good. Trubisky missed too many reads. I'm not real proud with how he played. Jordan Howard had a pretty good day. I think he had 60 rushing yards and then 25 receiving yards. I never thought he'd be such an important passing threat, but he's been pretty good as far as receiving goes this year. He gained a couple of first downs this year, or just this game. Gained a couple of influential first downs, got us a couple extra yards to get into field goal range. So he was really good on offense. Dislocated shoulder for Anthony Miller, but I think he's going to try to play through it. Anything you guys have to add about the offense?
The offense for me was once again ups and downs. There was I was really thankful, I guess you could say, of how Trubisky was leading long drives. The defense got its rest. The defense was full force, full energized every time it was back on the field. I just wish we could convert those field goals to touchdowns. And I know it's just week 3, and I was listening to Nagy's press conference, and he was saying how it's not just a learning curve for Mitch, it's a learning curve from himself as a coach, and also how it's difficult to get going right away, and on the road especially, and how he said that the offense is still not where he wants it to be for sure, and he said how once it gets there, you guys all will be, minds will be blown, and once it gets there, we can't wait for that game. That game will be the game where we're going to be scoring 40 plus, and it's going to get there.
Yeah.
It's got to wait.
Jaylen, what do you think about the offense tonight?
I feel like the offense got bailed out by this amazing defense. I think the whole first quarter, for the defense and offense, the first quarter was terrible. For the first half, the offense was atrocious. We weren't moving the ball. And when we did get in field goal range, Cody Parkey missed a 46-yard field goal, which would have made us beat down, I think, 4 at that time. So I just feel like the offense has to improve. They can't be carried by the defense the whole year.
Yeah. When you talk about Matt Nagy and what he said about just how the entire offensive play scheme, how it worked out, he also said, obviously we're a defensive heavy team. As you can see, our defense has won us 2 games, is basically what he said. And the offense will hopefully get there. I know looking into the future, we are 1.5-point favorites next week at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, Ryan Fitzpatrick looking very good. He's going to play tomorrow night in primetime against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deshaun Jackson is having a good year. Once again, he kind of went under the radar for a couple of years, but I think he's starting to step back into a really, really good role. Mike Evans is looking good. But when you look at Tampa Bay, they don't have any run game, and they got a decent defense. But we'll get into that next week, but my point is the offense is going to have to step up in that game if we're going to want to win that, because Tampa Bay has some good weapons on offense. Looking at the defense in this game, 4 turnovers forced, technically 5 if Khalil Mack wasn't offsides. Eddie Jackson would have had a pick 6. An interception for Jackson, an interception for Sherrick McManus, and an interception for Bryce Callahan on the rookie Josh Rosen on his first ever NFL drive. Defense was pretty good. Vic Fangio called up a pretty ballsy play, blitzing Josh Rosen. He literally brought the entire house at Josh Rosen on a Hail Mary play with 5 seconds left, and he didn't draw many players into coverage, so that was pretty ballsy. But defense was pretty solid all night. Sam Bradford couldn't get anything going, and there was also a forced fumble by Khalil Mack when Sam Bradford had brought it all the way down the field. and that ended up leading to Parkey's game-winning field goal. Defense was pretty good. What do you guys think about the defense tonight?
Can we also talk about how good the defense was after allowing those 2 touchdowns in the first quarter? If that happened to any other team, I feel like they'd
we held them scoreless for 3 quarters.
Exactly, and that was really impressive. Just the way they came back.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I feel like this is probably the worst first quarter of our entire defense, because usually in the first 2 games we played amazing in the second quarter. In the first half, where we struggled out was the second half, and that's because they were all tired, or especially Mac, because he's not in football shape right now, since he held out in training camp. But after those 2 touchdowns, they made adjustments on the coverage, and they didn't give up a touchdown for the last 3 quarters. So I just feel like that's an amazing improvement to see how good Vic Fangio is. When he made mistakes, he fixed them, and they didn't score since that. So I just feel like this defense is carrying us. This is a top 5 defense, no doubt.
I think top 3.
Top 3.
It's not number 1.
Maybe even 1.
Yeah. When you think about Mack as well, you look what Max did. He's the first player since Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is the first player since Khalil Mack in 3 games in a row to have a sack and a forced fumble. He did that in 2016 with the Raiders. He had 3 forced fumbles, 3 sacks. He had 2 sacks today and a forced fumble. Overall, another incredible game for him. I don't see... he's obviously the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. And I swear to God, if that man does not win Defensive Player of the Week this week, man, it's another week where he deserves it. And watch it be another week where he doesn't get it. But he definitely is going to get Defensive Player of the Month. And I think he's going to end up winning Defensive Player of the Year. But I also think that at some point, obviously, J.J. Watt won the MVP a couple years ago. I think Khalil Mack, at this point, has to be considered for MVP, at least in the top 5 for that. But, moving into offensive and defensive MVPs, we're going to go in reverse order here. Jaylen, when you look at the offense, who is your MVP tonight? Or if Parth wants to start.
I can't say Trubisky because he didn't have his best game. He had a better game last week against Seattle than he did this game, and he didn't play horrible, but he didn't play his greatest. So I'm going to go with Tariq Cohen. I'm going to go with Tariq Cohen and Jordan Howard. They both made big plays, especially Jordan Howard late in the game when we were coming back on that last drive when we scored the field goal. He made a bunch of big first down runs, so I'm gonna go with him. And Tariq Cohen, his playmaking ability is unbelievable. The way he can change a game or change a drive is just amazing, especially on that 17-yard run when we got to the 1. That was just an amazing play, and a good block by Benny Cunningham too.
Okay. What you got, Parth?
I'm gonna do something like what my baseball coach used to do. So if we didn't play that well, he would keep the game ball. So I'm not gonna say who got offensive MVP. I feel like the offense didn't play too well to even deserve an MVP. To deserve an MVP on the team, there has to be a significant effect, and I feel like no player had a significant effect on the offense today.
Yeah, I'm going to say one player because there was only one play I was impressed with by the offense in the entire game, and that was Allen Robinson's 39-yard reception from Trubisky that got him all the way down into San Francisco. Wow. Arizona territory, which ended up being a Jordan Howard 1-yard touchdown. I think that was on a 3rd and 12. So I'm going to say Allen Robinson just for that catch. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to agree with Parth. Wasn't really that impressive. Heading into defensive MVPs, I'm going to say Khalil Mack. He was incredible. He played well. Leonard Floyd continues just to be playing terrible. I hate to say it, but he was just not been good. So yeah, Khalil Mack with the 2 sacks and the forced fumble is going to be my defensive MVP.
I'm gonna give it to Akeem Hicks. I felt like he was getting the pressure in for the front 7. He was getting the pressure going. He also has that leadership quality, which I love, and a lot of QB hits for him too. I think he had 3. Yeah, and he also had a sack. So pretty good game. The whole defense is just.
So the Bears defense today, right? I kind of when I record these podcasts, I kind of just scroll through fantasy football to see stats or like Twitter or Instagram, I'm on Instagram right now. The defense today, 4 sacks, 3 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. Should have been 4 sacks, 4 interceptions, a touchdown, and a fumble recovery. But, defense overall, just incredible. So, the Bears, normally they give out a player of the game at the end of the week, like just one player. Their player of the game this week is the defense. It literally is just defense if you go to their Instagram. Jaylen, who's your MVP going to be on the defense?
I'm going to say something about Leonard Floyd. This is his first game playing without the club, and I feel like he had a better game. Even though he didn't get a sack, you can clearly see the pressure that he was putting on, especially on the first 4 fumble. We didn't get it, but the way he just got to Sam Bradford was crazy. It was on a dip play. So I disagree with your comment on saying he's playing terrible. In the first 2 games, he hasn't made an impact, but that's because he was playing with a club. But for my MVP, I'm gonna go with the whole defense, but one player, I'm gonna go with Eddie Jackson. He's the person that started the whole comeback when he got the interception. We only got 3 off that, but it was still a game changer because it shifted momentum.
Okay. Next, we're moving on to the deciding factor. This is where we kind of just say what we thought tipped the scales to lead to this Bears win. So, my deciding factor is the forced turnovers on defense in general. The offense wasn't incredible tonight, but if the defense didn't force those turnovers, Arizona either would have been able to juice the clock more up in the game, or they would have been able to put up points. So I'm just going to give it to the deciding factor being the turnovers that we forced on defense.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. If we didn't get those turnovers, I don't think Trubisky could have had those drives that he was having, once again, the defense is saving this team.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad to see that happen, especially with, I know it takes the time. I even said that earlier, but with the hiring of Coach Nagy, such an offensive specialist, we'd love to see that offense get going. And I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Stay positive.
Joe?
I'm basically agreeing on with you guys, but I'm gonna say the Bryce Callahan play. I just got really excited because
I was about to choose that as well. Yeah.
But I just got really excited because Josh Rosen threw a pick and he was kind of getting cocky. He really thought
they were getting down there too. He picked that thing off at the 40-yard line of the Bears. If that's a complete pass, they need another 5 yards in there in field goal range to win the game. So
no, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of getting nervous. I thought the chosen one, the Rosen one, was gonna come back and get a field goal, but Bryce Callahan shut that down. So that's my deciding factor.
Okay, next week. Oh, sorry. No, you go.
I just want to talk about Rosen's cockiness. I know it's not Bears related, but this guy literally thinks he can take his team and lead them to a drive, and then he makes all these facial expressions.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I saw him the entire time when they kept putting the camera on him, he was smirking and smiling. I was like, dude, you're losing and you got to throw a Hail Mary pass right now. Why are you smiling and laughing?
Exactly. Pisses me off.
Yeah. He also, I think, has been named since the game the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals going ahead. So, if Sam Bradford is for some miraculous reason watching this podcast, Khalil Mack ended your career as a starting quarterback, so I hope you enjoy the bench for the rest of your career. $126 million he has made as a starting quarterback. $126 million to get hurt his entire career. So enjoy the bench, Sam Bradford, for the rest of your life.
He just like Mike Glennon, he making $15 million on the bench.
Yeah. Next we've got who stepped up. We're each going to pick one player on offense, one player on defense who stepped up for the Bears tonight. It's going to be hard to do this on offense, but I'll go ahead and I'll start. I'm going to go with Trey Burton. He was pretty consistent tonight overall. He had been kind of shaking the last couple games, but he was there when he needed to be there tonight, so I'm going to go with Trey Burton.
I'm going to go with Matt Nagy on the offensive side. There was those games against the Packers where he wouldn't run the ball on third and ones, and today he definitely ran the ball on third and ones, fourth and ones, and I was super thankful because of that, because I would have been pissed if he kept throwing the ball on third and one, because it's just 1 yard, and Jordan Howard's a bulldozer. That's his second nickname, bulldozer. So.
Okay. Who you got, Joe?
I'm gonna go with Anthony Miller. he didn't make a bunch of big plays, but he did dislocate his shoulder on the first drive, and for him to come back and try to play through that dislocated shoulder, it just shows me how much he loves the game of football and how much he cares about this team.
Yeah, he tweeted after the game that he was good. So, I mean, I assume maybe he'll miss a couple weeks. I don't really know what the status is with him going forward.
Maybe a week. I doubt it, though.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to play with that.
I hope it's speedy, though,
Yeah. Next, we've got a player on defense that stepped up. For me, it's Sherrick McManus, easily. Normally when normally when you think of McManus, you kind of think of someone who's just like a special teams dime. He was talking about how much credit he gets on special teams after the game. But he was it was kind of a weird situation with Amukamara having a hamstring injury, I think, in the middle of the game. And it forced guys like Kevin Tolliver, like like Kevin Tolliver and Sherrick McManus to be in the game a lot. By the way, I'm not trying to roast you, Jaylen. I know you're a big Kevin Tolliver guy. He was allowing a lot of 8 to 10 yard gains, but he'll get better. Kevin Tolliver and Sherrick McManus were forced into some awkward situations with Amukamara being out, so they were kind of in as like our cornerback fours or threes or whatever you want to say. But McManus stepped up. He had that nice pick there, and he was the only one that had an opportunity to grab that ball, and he got in there and did that. That would have been an incomplete pass otherwise, so I'm glad for that.
I'm going to go with Eddie Jackson, I mean, I don't know. Like, the first 2 weeks, I didn't really see much of Eddie Jackson on the field. I mean, he's just a safety, but, last year against Carolina, he had that amazing 275-yard touchdown game, and, I was expecting big things from him this season, and, the first 2 games, there wasn't much. But today, he definitely proved himself as our main safety with Adrian Amos, and it's going to be exciting to see how those two play the rest of the year.
I'm going to go with
Kevin Tolliver.
I'm going to go with Kevin Tolliver. At the end of the game, he was giving up a lot of yards.
To Christian Kirk, someone in his draft class.
He kept giving up 9 yard passes. But that's because Fangio was probably telling him to play deep coverage. But the way how he was just forced into the game and he didn't give up that many big plays considerably, I'm going to go with Kevin Tolliver.
Yeah,
he didn't have the best game, but for you being a UDFA and coming in and doing decent, he stepped up.
I think he definitely stepped up. Him and Sherrick, it was just kind of weird to see them in the game because that's normally not something you'd really expect. So kudos to the both of them just for coming in and not really essentially playing incredibly well. I think McManus played pretty well, but just coming out and being a suitable substitute. Finally, our last segment on this is going to be things to improve on. I'll start this off. I'm going to give Mitchell Trubisky some advice. I've never played quarterback in my life, but it seems like looking at Trubisky's performance today, one thing he can definitely improve on is not just looking at his first read. It seems like on a lot of these plays, he just looks at kind of like in Madden when you kind of look for the hot route. It seems like Trubisky's kind of looking for the hot route and looking at that good read, that one good read. And if that's not available, he either throws it away or forces himself into a bad throw. I think looking around on the I wasn't watching the second quarter, so I don't know what happened, but I know the Bears had the ball near the goal line when they kicked the field goal on 3rd and 2, and he had 4 receivers to his right, and he looked just to the one receiver on his left, which was Allen Robinson. He threw it to Robinson, and it was incomplete. If you can just look for those second and third options more frequently, I think that's something that will end up hopefully getting us some more points, gaining us the ability to get some more first downs, and just leading to a better, more well-rounded game for Trubisky. So that's my thing to improve on for the next week.
I'm gonna go with just the offense, basically the whole offense. I feel like they need to get going and get going the whole game. I mean, we've seen them get going in the first drive, and then the next 4 drives they don't show up, you could say. So I feel like they need to basically just move the ball more. Maybe use Jordan Howard on first downs just to get those couple yards. Because I feel like those couple yards help Mitch Trubisky out as a passer. Because he's not much of a deep ball thrower. Even though he has the arm to throw it, he's not as accurate. So those short throws from Trubisky after a 5-yard game from Jordan Howard helps the offense out. But overall, I'm going to see this team improve.
I'm pretty sure we're going to be saying this throughout the whole season until they show us something, but it's clear with the offense. The offense has to get better. It's not just Mitchell, it's the whole offense in general. I know Mitchell needs the offense, but you can't just blame him for some of the you can't blame him for he's the quarterback, but some of the drop passes or them not getting open. So I'm going to just go with the offense in general. Also, the play calling has to get better. I know Nagy is not trying to unleash the whole playbook because it's Mitchell's third game in it, but you got to get better with the play calling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. As I said in our pregame show yesterday, we are going to get back going on our normal upload schedule. So Tuesday you'll see our NFL Week 4. Wow. Tuesday you'll see our Week 4 predictions, and then you'll see our 3 key factors, meet the opponents, pregame show, all that good stuff. I kind of do want to start, depending on how many people would participate in this. I was thinking about new segments to do today. I think it'd be cool, even though we're all kids. You could say we don't know a lot about the Bears, but I think it'd be cool if we did like a mailbag segment where you guys submitted questions for us and we answered them to the best of our ability. That seems like something that could be popular. But yeah, for now you'll see those. Maybe we'll start incorporating some type of mailbag thing in the future. But that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. Do you guys have any last words? Nope.
We're first in the division.
Yeah, we are.
That's all you need to know.
Let's party like it's 2013 and Brett Favre's in the NFL.
This is a little fun fact. This is our first time being first in the division since I moved back to Illinois. That's crazy. And I moved back to Illinois 5 years ago. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's gonna pretty much do it, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday. Good night, Chicago. Bear down.